The Syrian army continues approach to the territories seized by terrorists. For the last days it completely exempted the small valley Kyn in 25 kilometers from the city of Idlib, the head of department gave on Saturday information of political department of the Syrian army the General Samir Suleiman. The small valley Kyn in the north of the province Hama is completely freed. Here about 10 settlements is located, under our impact they are left by fighters, he told journalists. According to him, now military conduct cleaning and mine clearing of settlements of the valley. It didn't exclude that in some villages still there can be ambushes, snipers or fighters who lagged behind the main forces. In some cities, in particular Al-Bakhsa, the branched underpasses dug by fighters are found, the general declared. In them fighters also still can disappear. He noted that the fighters resisting to the Syrian army in this area treat the Nusra Front, which is a local wing of the international terrorist Al-Qaeda organization. The blows of the Russian aircraft which destroyed warehouses with the weapon and bases of fighters in the valley Kyn and in the large city of Jizreshchigar, the being stronghold of fighters, seriously undermined their fighting capacity and made possible approach of the Syrian army, the General Suleiman noted. According to its data, fighters receded from the valley on the small ridge Jebel of an Azizah, who is cutting off the valley from the province of Idlib. Now the Syrian artillery conducts attack of this ridge. The valley Kyn, about 300 square kilometers, is in the north of the Syrian province Hama, near border with Turkey, and in 20 kilometers from the city of Idlib. Since 2011 Idlib and the province of the same name became one of places of the heaviest fighting between the Syrian army and fighters. It is considered that Idlib has a strategic importance, being near the Syrian-Turkish border and in 40 kilometers from the economic capital of Syria, the city of Aleppo. Several times I passed Idlib from hand to hand, and in March 2014 it was again taken by joint groups of the Nusra Front and the Islamic State. Now the Syrian army with assistance of aircraft of the Russian Federation hopes again to take under control Idlib and adjacent pieces of border with Turkey. Since September 30, Russia at the request of the Syrian President Bashar al-Assad started striking airstrikes to objects of the Islamic State in Syria. During this time aerospace forces struck 200 blows to terrorists, having killed about 300 fighters, training camp, points of command, warehouses of ammunition and other objects. Besides, 26 cruise missiles were launched by the ships of the Caspian flotilla which successfully struck objects of Is. The General Staff of Russian Armed Forces reported that Islamic State terrorists sustain notable losses and change tactics, dispersing forces and taking cover in settlements. According to the Russian military, the purposes get out on the basis of intelligence information of Russia, Syria, Iraq, and Iran. The high-precision arms are applied. The ambassador of Syria in Russia, Riyadh Haddad, confirmed earlier that blows are struck to terrorist armed groups, but not to opposition or the civilian population. Besides, according to him, since the beginning of the Operation Russian Federation in Syria about 40% of infrastructure of Is are destroyed. On 8 October the Chief of the General Staff of Armed Forces of Syria General Ali Abdullah Ayyub declared the beginning of large-scale approach of the Syrian army. According to him, blows of the Russian aircraft undermined fighting opportunities of the IS international terrorist group and other terrorist formations, as allowed Syrians to take the offensive for the purpose of destruction of terrorist groups and release of areas and settlements which suffered from terror and crimes. In days 8 settlements in the different regions of Syria were freed.